Are we going? Are we rolling? Blah, 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 blah. Cool. Okay, hold on. Let's get this thing up in here and shit. Let's do a thing. Let's talk about shit, right? Now, I know everybody's making these fucking videos about ChatGPT, right? They're talking about AI and this new crazy revolutionary chatbot technology that exists. It's great, right? It is really good at what it does. Hold on. Let me just adjust my fucking... There we go. It is really good at what it does, right? It's a genuinely fucking amazing chatbot. It doesn't... It's very similar to speaking to a human sometimes. You can have in-depth... You can have some pretty deep conversations with this thing. It's genuinely... It's like... It's educated, and it knows a lot, because it's trained on a shitload of data, right? It's a very clever chatbot, is what I'm trying to say here, right? And it's... So don't get me wrong, I think it's great, but I'm going to play devil's advocate here because there's something that needs to be said, because I've seen a lot of people making these videos that really glorify ChatGPT and OpenAI and all this stuff. And please don't get me wrong, because I've used ChatGPT before to help with programming, and I've actually made my own chatbot using their text generation technology. But I have to talk about this because I've noticed a couple things about ChatGPT, and every video I see talking about it just seems to be that they're all propping it up on this pedestal, and it's like, oh my god, it's the greatest thing since the invention of the CPU. It's like, hold on, like, it's not actually that great. Mimi uses Text DaVinci 003, which is a language training model that ChatGPT runs on, apparently. And when I ask Mimi some questions like, tell me about some ants that live in space, tell me about this artist who you don't know anything about, it will tell me a story about the artist, and it will say a bunch of random shit that it's not actually real, it's not correct. And it'll tell me a completely fictitious story about these ants that live in space. So, I mean, obviously it's doing the best it can to try and generate some shit for me to make me happy, but it's not actually correct. The information is not right sometimes, but everyone is saying that it's always correct, and that it is the greatest thing ever. But if you actually try and use the information that you get from it, a lot of the time it's just not quite there. But a lot of the time it is also correct. Most of the time it's correct, right? So you'll ask it a question like, write me some Python code that loops through a set of variables and produces I don't know, it sends a pizza to somebody's house for every address in a text file, right? And it'll do that for you. It'll spit it out and regurgitate it and be like, yeah, that's fine, cool, you got it, boss. It'll just do that for you. Maybe it'll explain what it's doing, but a lot of the time you don't really have to even look at that, because the code it spits out works for you, and it's completely bespoke for what you're doing, because you've asked it exactly what to do, and it fucking does it based on your use case. And it's incredible that it can do that, but at the same time, this is an extremely lazy way of programming. Like, this is not... You don't learn anything by doing this. You certainly didn't write the code, but then you could quite easily put it up on GitHub and say that it's yours, because, I mean, who's gonna fucking know, right? Who's gonna fucking know that you asked an AI to write this for you? It's text. You didn't steal anyone's code, it's generated it. It just happens to be good at generating code, because it's a language model, right? And it's been trained on, evidently, Stack Overflow and other programming forums and stuff. So this is going to encourage some laziness in developers, and they're not going to have to think too much about how their code runs and stuff, because they can just ask a robot to fucking make their code for them. They're not going to have to think about, like, whether or not this code runs well or good. This is going to become easy to develop a dependency on it, so they can get to the point where you're writing some complicated shit, and then, like, it gets to the point where you have to actually fix something, and ChatGPT isn't going to have the answer for you, because it doesn't always have the answer, as we've established. It's not always great. And you're not going to have any fucking idea how the code runs, because you're so dependent on ChatGPT to write code for you that you don't know anything. You don't know how the fucking code works, like how your own fucking program is supposed to work. It's not an efficient way of learning anything, because you're not learning. The whole point of, like, learning more efficient ways of writing code is that you go out and you learn shit with, like, you know, you ask questions and a human will explain the answer to you, or you'll have like documentation that you have to look through, you have to find out, and in the process of doing that you discover shit that you didn't previously know, right? But ChatGPT is just like, here's the specific piece of knowledge that you are looking for, and you learn nothing along the way, and you don't get a moment to figure out how it's supposed to work. It's just, there is the code, there you go. I don't want to say that people are lazy for using ChatGPT. I just think it's not. You are allowing your brain to be lazy by using it, and you're not gonna. It's just your long-term memory of things is gonna be not great. Anyway, I just wanted to make this to say that people are propping this shit up like it has the answers to fucking everything, and it's basically the sequel to Jesus, and people are making actual decisions in their life based on what this fucking chatbot is telling them. And it's just, people could very easily be misled by this shit. So I just wanted to make a video and play the devil's advocate here, because this shit is not, this could be bad. It's ChatGPT bad, actually. Like, ChatGPT not great. ChatGPT not the smartest thing in the universe.